And here we go. Just the Thought Podcast. We are back with another one. I am your host, Ray Swaby. We got a special guest in the building, but before he speaks, I want to introduce him. We got Stewart King coming onto the show, aka the Astrology Consultant. TikTok, Instagram, you can also find him on. Guys, not only is he does videos on TikTok, right? I want to get this clear. He does not only break down charts, right? He shows people how to stop fighting the universe and start moving with it. His work isn't about predictions, it's about strategy, soul, syncing your life with the rhythm it was built for. He has helped thousands rely on their business, their relationship, and even their self worth using truth written in the sky. And today, we're going to talk and ask the real questions, some uncomfortable ones, and the ones that reveal whether you're in your timeline. Stewart King, aka the Astrology Consultant, welcome to the show, man. It is a pleasure to meet you, brother.
Great introduction. Thank you. Thank you
Yes,
for that. I
yes,
love it. I
yes.
love it. I love it.
Yes, man. Man, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Before we get into our topics, I have two right off the bat questions I'm going to ask you.
Yep.
And the first question I want to ask you, what is something in astrology that still gives you the chills after all these years of studying it?
Oh, that's a good question. That gives me the chills. Oh, in terms of some sort of fear or just nervousness.
Like just the feeling of like every day you're learning more and more about and how you're sinking more into it.
Okay, I would say the aspect that does that more so is probably the dark Lilith moon. It's quite deep. I'm now discovering that it's about the unconscious mind because you have like, three states of the mind. You have the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind. And the dark
Right.
Lilith moon and the sign that it's in based on your birth chart and based on, the house it's in as well, based on your birth chart, really indicates what goes on in your unconscious mind. And obviously that comes out in dreams and stuff like that because that's where, you're unconscious. So that kind of does give me like this, yeah, like, how deep does that go? And if you say chill factor, that gives me a chill factor because I still haven't really dived completely deep into it to fully understand it. It's probably going to take me probably a year to do it because these things you have to analyze so many different people and everything like that to
Right.
actually see the link continuously. So yeah, but that does give me something for sure.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Before we get into it and explaining the houses, because I think the houses are so important, right? I
Hmm.
have another question for you. If
Please.
someone is listening, feels totally stuck in a career, love, life, what's the first place you look in their chart to figure out why?
Love or life or career, which one? Because it's different depending.
I'm gonna life. We'll do life.
So life is probably because normally it's, you're affected your happiness and your ego, your vitality, your personality, your kind of your willpower is been stunted in some way where if life isn't going the way you like it or where you feel or maybe sometimes you're depressed or whatever it may be, and this is basically your sun sign and also the sun the sign the sun is in terms of in the house, like what placement is the sun in, like if it's in the seventh house, is the sun in the sixth house, is the sun in the fifth house when you was born. And normally people are completely, when they feel like life is not going their way, they're completely away from, or they're not doing exactly what they should be doing. They're literally doing the opposite of what they should be doing in terms of the sun in the like their sun sign and what house it's in as well. So these are that's the first thing, like because the sun is is who you are. It is who you are, and
It's like
depression.
ego, right? It's
Yeah,
like your ego.
it's ego,
Uh-huh.
and depression comes when we disconnect with ourselves. That's the biggest side of depression or anything like that. So if you disconnect with who you are, that's probably because you're not connecting with your sun sign.
Right, right. And I want to ask you this because a lot of people, you see a lot of people starting to get into the astrology, right? You're seeing a lot of people get more into it, learn more about it. There's a lot of people that are putting the knowledge on there, like you on TikTok. But a lot of people are misunderstood. I hear a lot of people going just off their sun sign, right? Oh, I'm compatible with this person. For an
Yes.
example, oh, because I'm a Libra and he's an Aquarius. No,
Mm.
there is more to that. There's more
It,
to that.
there's so, there's so much more to that. To be honest with you, it's a situation where uh, it's it doesn't even compatibility doesn't even sun sign is not really compatibility. It's more about that's
Right.
more of a friendship kind of thing. It indicates how well you get on with a person platonically. But it's about the sun and moon sign. If someone was a Libra sun sign and they knew somebody who was Aquarius moon sign, this would be a much stronger and better and more accurate indication for relationship compatibility, specifically with like understanding each other, communicating with each other, and connecting with each other's emotions.
Mm. So let
Yeah.
me ask you. So let me ask you this: is it important? Is it important for two people to be compatible? Is it important for that person and the other person to have compatible moons? Is the moons more compatible? Is it more important to have a compatible moon than it is to have a compatible sun?
So it's okay. Literally, what it is, it's your sun is masculine. Sun is a masculine planet or luminary, and the moon is a feminine luminary. So there's no when you have a moon and moon connection or sun and sun connection, this isn't a strong indication. Yes, there is something in it. I'm not disregarding it, but it's
Right,
not the strong indication, because when you have a masculine energy and a feminine energy and you connect that in terms of like it being an both air signs, like your Libra and someone else, like I said, moon sign is Aquarius, this is where it connects, and vice versa. So let's say your moon sign is something like a Cancer, and their sun sign is like Scorpio. Again, that would connect, and this is like the true indication of it. Moon sign connection, sun sign connection does have, like I said, it's friendship, and the friendship is important in relationship,
right,
but it doesn't mean that you're going to be in a you're gonna you need that contrast. You need contrast in life. You can't have light without dark. You can't have the day without night. If you just have day all the time, um you're not going to be happy. Just like if you're connected with somebody who's the same sign as you all the time, it's just going to be too familiar to the point where you know
exactly.
you just get bored of each other. So that's why the contrast is so important.
So you went into the you because before because I have a lot to ask and so little
Mhm.
time, man.
Yeah.
Um, so you kind of went into the sun sign. Give me an example of like what is the moon sign about? Because a lot of people know about their sun. Why is it so important to know about your moon sign?
So the moon sign is your emotional self. It's kind of like where your comfortability lies. It also rules your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind is like the way you think automatically, the way you think without thinking. It indicates kind of like your childhood to a degree, how you was treated, what you experienced. So your emotions are a lot. We do a lot of work. A lot of things affect us emotionally in life. Every day we're being affected by emotions. It's the inner self. It's your internal being. Is your moon sign. So that's kind of what controls you in a way, even though your sun sign is your personality, but it's kind of the expression of you. Your sun sign is the expression. The moon sign is you know innately in you, and you personally feel that side of you more than any other um placement in in your birth chart.
And what about the rising sign?
Mhm. The rising sign is more about how people see you, or how you come across to people, also how you impress people, also how you dress is how you also look. Like your features and things like this. Your rising sign is just your mask, so to speak. It's that simple. Um, yeah, you can do a lot with the rising sign as well. You can. let's say you're trying to go for a job interview, for example, something like this. If you connect with your rising sign on a job interview, that's the best thing to connect with on the job interview. Um, because that's going to impress people the most. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, I want to dive in a little bit because I watched one of your videos. One of your videos caught my attention.
Hmm.
And you were talking about what if the based on your moon sign, what job is best for you,
Hmm.
right? Um, can you kind of go into detail?
Yeah,
I'm a Taurus. I'm a Taurus moon, by the way. My moon is in Taurus.
nice.
I actually paid attention to that because I'm someone, and you said Taurus moons are like you gotta be you not animals is not good. Like doing a job with animals, doing like entrepreneur or being like having a unfixed income is not a good for a Taurus moon. And it's funny because I remember going to school and wanting to work with animals, and I was just, and it makes sense how you explained it. But can you go into detail
Hmm.
on like based on your moon sign, what job is suitable for you?
So this is a very controversial subject, and the video that I did it intentionally to try to make people understand that where, because you, like I said, your moon sign is your comfortability factor, right? But
Right,
how you manifest your life is doing what's uncomfortable, because like I said, your moon sign is your subconscious mind, how you think without thinking. So when you incorporate, or when you're in an environment like a work environment that's completely opposite to where you're comfortable, you actually start to manifest life at a rapid rate. So I basically said to people that what job they should be in is basically jobs that are like for you as as a Taurus moon, you need to focus on roles that have a Scorpio element to it, because there's a level of uncomfortability, or you could, or doing something that is like Scorpio-esque, which is like focusing on an environment where there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of change. Because of that, you would be completely uncomfortable because you like a stable environment, you like a secure environment. And if you worked in an environment where change is happening like if every hour or every couple of minutes or every day, um, you would
it's
be
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable. You'd be
Yeah,
uncomfortable initially, but what would happen eventually is you would adapt, and then you'd incorporate that uncomfortability factor and become comfortable with it. And then once you become comfortable with what you find uncomfortable, then that's when you start manifesting life rapidly, and things just start working for you easily. And that's why I said this is the job that people should go for. And a lot of people was resistant to it, which obviously I completely expected, because people don't want to do what they're uncomfortable with.
right. That is 100% true. That is 100% true. Yeah. Let's go into our first topic, man. I have a
Hmm.
couple questions I wanted to ask you. Like I said, I got a lot to talk to you about. I love your
Yeah,
content, man.
cool.
So I want to ask you, and this topic, guys, I'm gonna name it timing and destiny. Okay. So I want to ask you a question. All right. So can someone's chart reveal their biggest success? All right. Like, can someone's chart reveal their success either earlier in life or later in life? Can someone's chart reveal that?
There is certain signs that do better later, for sure. Um, but whether that success will be earlier or later, no, there's no true indication for that. There's an indication of like this person is going to be 100% successful. Like there's certain placements, certain combinations of placements where you can see this is successful. This person is going to be successful. There's nothing that's going to stop him, whether it or her, whether that happens sooner or later is irrespective of the point. It's going to happen. Um, so that is one thing. But in terms of timing, no. Um, like with Sagittarius, for example, they are Sagittarius rising, Sagittarius Jupiter to a degree. They're more likely going to gain success later in life because they need experiences in order to be successful, because they need to learn, and then they need to teach what they've learned. So yeah, or become completely wise, because learn wisdom becomes from experience and learning, and you can only get wise through, yeah, making those mistakes.
Exactly. Yeah. Why do some signs tend to do better with success than others? Like for example, Leos are very successful, to whereas sometimes cancers have problems. Why is that tend to be the case?
I I disagree with that, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
I don't think signs particularly are successful or not, based
Or
just on, yes,
driven,
some
or like driven, more driven, if I
there's
can say.
driven, like for example, Aries is more driven, Capricorn is more driven for
Right.
sure. You know, yeah, yeah, these are probably the two most driven placements in the zodiac. Scorpio has drive, but then, it doesn't necessarily mean that success is going to come, because you could be driven to do things because of other people, or driven to do things that other people are doing that does not exactly suit who you are, and therefore the success won't come because it's not your lane, it's not your field that you should be in, etc. Even though you could do it okay, but you're not going to get to the level that you expect. So, I think what the best thing is to, like, obviously, when people do like my birth chart readings, or if people do other people's birth chart readings, they should really indicate like multiple aspects of your chart in order to kind of identify what where your success is and how you need to get there.
Mm. I appreciate you for sharing that. That was a good one, man. Um, how so when someone is asking you for a reading,
Mhm.
and they are wanting to know like what is the next steps, how do you go about those readings when
So I
somebody's looking for the next step and what they should do?
Yeah, so we have a thing called like transiting planets, which basically, so you have your birth chart, right? And you're born with certain planets that are fixated, and these called your natal chart.
Right,
These planets don't move; they stay there, and that's it. And it affects your personality, your hidden personality, and also it indicates your skill sets, indicates your God given talent, etc., etc. So that's one thing of looking at. But in terms of indicating what someone should do now to improve their, situation that they're in, we have a thing called transiting planets, and these are basically energies that are affecting us in this moment in time, and that are continuously moving around your chart, that give you different effects depending on what houses they go into, etc., etc. Um, so yeah, I would look at someone's birth chart and I'll be like, okay, let's say someone had a son in their first house. I would say, look, what you need to do is you need to start something new. You need to go into life, and they've probably been feeling this feeling anyway. The thing is, what all I'm doing is basically giving them clarity because they've been feeling it. I'll just say, look, your son's in your first house. You need to start something new, do something new, bring something new to the table, and that's going to kickstart you from feeling how you're feeling, or gaining more money, or helping you ended up leaving your helping you go to leave your job eventually. Do you know what I mean? So it's just they need clarity and guidance, because innately we all kind of feel the energy, but we don't know.
right, right. Explain the houses. Explain the houses. So there's 12, right?
Yeah.
Explain the different houses and why those houses are very important on your birth chart, if you don't mind.
Yeah, yeah, no problem at all. Basically, I'll try to do it as quick as possible because it could take quite
Yeah,
long to explain it.
yeah,
But you have 12 houses, just like you have 12 signs, and each house represents a certain characteristics. And when planets are in that houses, they affect you in different ways based on the planet and based on the house.
mm,
So let's just talk about the second house, for example. The second house is the house of possession. So it indicates about money, possession, food, um, yeah, these types of things, and with yeah, those three things are really strong. And that the second house is a Taurus. It's ruled by Taurus, and it basically represents Taurus energy. But when you have like a planet in that house, for example, let's say Saturn is in the second house. Let's say you was born with Saturn in the second house, you would be Saturn, because Saturn is a planet of limitation, structure, organization, karma, material gains, uh, discipline. You have to be very disciplined with your money. You have to be very disciplined and structured and organized with your food. So if you eat wrong, you get punished very not quickly, but you will get punished by Saturn If you don't eat right, it will give you maybe ill health or things like that. If you don't utilize your money right, you're going to get like karmically punished, because Saturn's also the planet of karma. So you'd get karmically punished with your money, um, if you don't do things right, and if you don't take care of your possessions and take care of what you need to do, again, you'll get punished as well. And vice versa. If you do take care of your money, you're going to get more money. If you do look after your health and food and eat right, you're going to get more health, feel strong and better, etc., etc. And it affects you like that or that individual very specifically. And most people with their placements will tell you that if they, what I just said is so true, because yeah, I know a few people that have bad health because of their eating habits and stuff, because of that second house, that Saturn in the second house. So
Right, with the
it
discipline.
yeah, with the discipline they need to, it's karmic. It's and the material gains is based on their discipline. Saturn is the planet of material gains, and if you have that in your second house, you cannot literally, if you're not disciplined with your money, you will suffer, because you have to be punished. Saturn is the teacher, and it's Saturn's is about harsh lessons. So it will give you the harshest lessons in order for you to learn and incorporate discipline in that specific house, which would be the second. If it was the third, which is the third house of communication, it would be, you know, discipline in terms of your communication, discipline in terms of your movement, discipline in terms of how you utilize your time, because third house is also about, yeah, like I said, it's about movement and doing things and busy. And so if you don't utilize your time right, if you have your Saturn in your third house and you just waste time, and or you utilize your energy in the wrong way, you get punished, you get karmically punished, and things don't work out the way you want to. But if you do, then you get all the rewards you need. So it's, again, and then if you had like a Aries, if you had, sorry, a Mars in that third house, it would be about, you know, how you talk to people, because you might be more aggressive the way you talk, you might get more angry, you might be more passionate when you how you communicate, etc., etc. So, these are all the things that, all the houses affect you in different ways. The fourth house is of home, the fifth house is about creation, the sixth house is about work and health, the seventh house is about marriage and partnership, the eighth house is about death and regeneration, which is really about transformation. And it's also about taxes and other people's money and inheritance and stuff like that. And the ninth house is about learning, exploration, and yeah, higher, expanding your mind, really. 10th house is about career and your public persona, your image, your expertise. 11th house is about people, basically, because everything comes through people, information, everything comes through a person. No one, you know, yeah, nature gives in terms of light and food and etc. But when it comes to anything material, it's coming through a person. So the more, 11th house is about networking, and if you have placements in that, you need to be networking and making friends and connecting and
Yes,
making
I have. I
moves.
have a few. I have a few placements in 11th house.
Do
Yes.
you know what I was thinking you do? That's why I said it. I don't know why, but I saw
Yeah.
okay.
I want to save it to the end. I want you to, because I wanted to do it at the end. But my 11th house is Mercury and Aries.
Okay. Okay. So basically what you're doing now really is in line
Yes,
with.
and I noticed, because you explained it in a video. I noticed I'm very quick to the punch. Like
Mhm.
sometimes my mouth moves faster than my mind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a problem. It's a good thing and a bad thing. It's one thing that
Mhm.
I like and I hate at the same time.
But the thing is, I don't think people, because you have because it's in the 11th house, I don't think people would be offended by it. You probably think that you shouldn't um, be as direct as you are, but I think it's actually a positive for you, and because of the 11th house placement of the Mercury, you connect with a lot of people by being direct, and so I would say keep being direct is beneficiary for you.
Hmm. Let me ask you this: 12th house gets a lot of bad rep.
Mhm.
Why? Why does 12th house placements get such a bad rep?
Because 12th house placements tend to not understand uh, themselves very well, tend to not understand, they tend to get drained by energy very easily. They tend to have emotional upheavals and emotional imbalances based on certain placements. But for me, that's the rep. But for me, it's not a bad. None of them are bad. All you need to do is utilize spiritual practices in order to kind of negate against your energies being off kilter. You need to do spiritual practices, connect with nature, and you need to kind of sacrifice yourself in certain ways for people, or serve people in a certain way. Um, give, be compassionate, be understanding. The more it's all about service. That house is about spirituality, but I think serving people is a level of spirituality too. And when you do that, these emotional blockages, these emotional things that make you kind of do things to yourself, drugs, alcohol, food, uh, abuse, emotional abuse, like being stuck in the past, etc. These things will eradicate the more you do spiritual practices.
Right. Okay. Okay. Thank you for explaining that, because I've seen so many videos. I've seen so many videos from other people that are doing astrology work, and they talk about the 12 house placements. And I just look at the comments from people like, oh, I have this placement in the 12th house.
Hmm.
It's been hard. It's hard, but I
It
think
is
having 12 house placements also is a superpower as well. If
exactly
you,
one hundred
yeah, if
percent,
you can use it right. Yeah, yeah. But
one
I
hundred
wanted to
percent.
ask you that because I found that interesting. I found that interesting.
It's the healer.
Um,
12th house is the healer. You got. I don't know if you're a 12th house placement, but 12th house
I
is
do.
is a healer. So it's a thing where, like, it's a spiritual kind of way of operating to heal somebody, to serve somebody,
Right.
because you have the power to do so. Because 12th house is ruled by Pisces, and Pisces is the most powerful sign. Why is it the most powerful sign? Because their belief system, their faith and their belief. And when you have faith and belief, you can turn water into wine, literally.
Hmm. I have I have my 12th house placement in the sun, in the moon, and in my Venus.
Yeah, that's heavy. That's some heavy
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. It's
That's
some,
some heavy stuff. And
yeah.
the best thing for you is to literally, oof, with the sun and the moon, it's a lot. Um, what you have to do, because you're emotional, it's the emotional ties and the waves affect you. But you kind of have to find a constant spiritual practice. And if you have a constant spiritual practice, including the serving part, because you have a massive energy and abundance to serve and help and give, but then you have to give to yourself so you don't deplete your emotional energy. So that's the key for you to do things that serve yourself as well as serving others.
I saw, thank you for that. I saw a video that you did. So my Venus is in 12th and it's in the sign of Taurus. You talked a little bit about how if your Venus is in the 12th house, this is how you should go about things. And you were talking about, for me, it would be like money, right? I would be money, understanding how money works and how
Hmm.
I should focus on money. Can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah, Venus is just about your Venus is about attraction. So how you become, how you attract your money is through, how you attract things is through doing Taurus things. How you attract anything in life is through doing Taurus things, which is multiple things really. But the main thing is consistency.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. That's 100%. All right. So I have a couple more questions, man. I
Mhm.
want to talk a little bit about. So I have a question for you. So, is there a planet or a placement that always, like, kind of worries you in a way? Like, if somebody has these two placements in their chart, it kind of is like, ooh, this person, it's kind of, it kind of worries you a little bit. It kind of gives you raises some eyebrows.
Yeah. There's a few. it depends though. It
I can tell you mine. I can
go
tell
on.
you mine. If they have a Gemini Venus, is they're fun. Don't get me wrong, but it's a
Yeah.
scary placement for me. It's
Why'd you
definitely
say that?
just because they're very curious. I have a
Mm-hmm.
Gemini. I'm a Gemini rising, so I
Mm-hmm.
kind of get Gemini's to a certain degree. But like,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to that Venus placement, it's like you gotta, you have to have a third eye because they're players. They are
I agree.
flirtatious. They know how to move around. So that's a very scary placement for me.
Mm-hmm. If it was relationship, I would say the one I would avoid in terms of relationship is the Scorpio Venus.
Scorpio Venus.
Yeah, because they want to control you really, and this is something that I can't really handle, being controlled in that sense. And it's not the fact that they're controlling; it's just the fact that they need to know everything about what you're doing, and sometimes it can feel like invasive, or they're the types that could go through your phone very easily. you know they just they need confirmation, and if you're not going to tell them confirmation, they're going to get it from you either way. And for me, in terms of relationship, I think that's a bit much. I know some people may like to be wanted that much, but for me, it's just invasive. But maybe because I'm a Venus in Gemini.
Oh, you're Venus and Gemini. Hey man, listen, I get Gemini's because of my ascending sign.
Yeah,
I'm very close with air signs because of
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But to be with one, I think is not for the weak. I think you gotta have air placements, especially if you're an earth sign or water sign, you have to have air placements. I
one hundred
think if
percent.
you have mostly water and earth placements, I think having an earth sign is probably not a good thing for you,
Mm.
in
I
my
mean,
opinion.
the thing with Venus and Gemini, what it is that it's the boredom factor. But if somebody, or intelligence factor, I think somebody has to show a level of intelligence or a level of like competence,
Right.
to really be like, okay, this person is good at what they do. So therefore, you feel like, okay, maybe it's something that's on my level. Because Geminis are, yes, they have this reputation, but I think it's because they're just looking for their twin, really.
True. Yes, that's 100% true. I totally agree with you. I would say another placement that kind of scares me is the Cancer Mars.
Why?
I've had a little passive aggressive at times, and I feel like sometimes their energy can be a little bit too strong, especially when it comes to an argument or something like that.
Mm. I mean, obviously, when they argue, they're very kind of solid in how they operate. They have this kind of immovable energy when they argue with that. They feel like nothing can move them, no matter what you're saying or doing. Um, but I think, I, in terms of like pure relationship, I think they're very protective, and I think that's kind of like a positive for them. Which I think, depending on your birth chart and depending on your signs and your Venus sign and all your other signs, it really is about how it matches with you. Because what you might hate, somebody else might love, and that's the beauty.
Like,
That's the beauty
true,
of compatibility.
true.
And even your Venus. What did you say? Your Venus in Taurus.
My Venus is in Taurus.
Yeah. So I think. What's your Mars sign?
My Mars is in Pisces.
So I think like yeah, I think it's not like terrible for you, but I just think maybe sometimes people just have uh, certain personalities that even negate their chart. Because when you think about it, let's say someone has a personality disorder, and I know people talk about narcissistic personality and this that and the other, but the reason why astrology is what it is, because it's like you've been ordained with energy from birth. So your first breath you took in, you was given this, like, you was imprinted with energy. And narcissists and people with personality disorders normally go through massive levels of trauma in childhood, and for them to survive the trauma, they have to forego their soul in a way. So they kind of forego their kind of astrological kind of placements and astrological energy, because to survive a narcissistic kind of environment or toxic environment as a child, you have to eradicate your soul. It's that simple. So I believe they shed themselves from their birth chart just when they eradicate their soul to survive these toxic environments. And that's why you can come across like, certain, people, and yes, they have a connection with the chart or whatever it may be, but whatever happens to them, or when things happen to them, their chart doesn't even show. It shows up in certain ways, but it's like it's not fully present. Their kind of energy connected to their chart is not present. They just have this dark side of the energy, maybe, or they just have eradicated it completely, where they just have this kind of like emptiness. If you know what I'm trying to say.
Mm. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. No, I
yeah.
understand what you're trying to say. I actually saw this video a couple years ago. A guy was saying that he believes that from birth people should live by their birth chart,
hmm
their astrology chart. What would you say to something like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I have three kids, and it's a thing where I see their chart every single time. Like I see a characteristic in their chart, and as they get older, it comes out more and more and more, and it's literally, you know, as parents, it's sometimes hard because obviously you're having to teach them certain things about life and certain limitations, etc. But their expression of their personality is so strong in them, and all their placements is so strong in kids that most of the time we truly dumb it down, and as parents we kind of restrict it to the point where we just want them to be how we want them to be. But what we should do is we should really know their chart and let them express themselves in their natural way, and not trying to like judge them for it.
That's true. I agree with that. I agree with that. I think working with kids, man, I think some parents need to understand that kids are smarter than what people think
hmm
they are. They're like
hmm
sponges, man. They're
yeah.
sponges. And as a teacher, man, I take information from them, right? They're giving me games sometimes. So
mm
like
mm.
they're underrated. They're underrated for sure. I
Big time.
totally agree with that.
Big time.
Okay, so can you I have to ask, so when it comes to astrology, can you predict a cheater looking at their chart?
You can predict someone who's more likely to cheat for sure. Yeah, can't
And
predict
how
whether they will. You can
and
take
how
predict the likelihood.
how can you predict that?
So there's certain placements that are more likely to cheat. I would say the top three are Gemini, Aquarius, and Sagittarius. Um, not saying that they all would, not saying that they should. They're, but there's so if so, in you can throw if throw Libra in the mix. You could throw a Virgo in the mix as well. So the situation where if they have certain placements, you're gonna be like, okay, they're more likely. Like you could have, you could, yeah, you could just put it in there and throw it in there. Now the thing is, they could have placements in there. They could have placements in their Mars sign, Venus sign, and whatever. But then they could have other placements in their houses, which would actually go to the opposite. So it's a situation where their default might be to cheat, right? It might be their default mode, but innately they don't want to. They just want to have a close bond with somebody that they really need to feel um, a really amazing connection with, and sometimes that's what it takes. But the reason why they cheated a lot of the times because they felt misunderstood. They've felt, you know, whatever they felt. I'm not giving it as an excuse, but they've just, felt what they felt, and they felt like the relationship maybe isn't satisfying them in the way they want to. So they've decided to, go elsewhere, and that can only be on them. That's not fair on the person who they're cheating on. But that's probably they need to find the right connection. And when somebody finds the right connection, I think it reduces the cheating a lot. I don't think it's complete, but it reduces the cheating a lot. And mostly what happens is when people find the right connection, they're in like the right kind of space to have that right connection, because you know energy, like attracts like, and you're not going to get what you want if you're not being what you want. And once you start being what you want, then you'll start getting what you want in terms of everything, really, to be honest with you. And that's the key aspect to it. If you're just doing things, here and there, and you're not being serious and about life generally, or about your career, about yourself, etc., then how can you expect to attract the right person for you? And that's the key.
Big facts. That's big facts. Big facts. Yes. So you did another video I really liked, and this goes perfect with it. How can you attract each person depending on their Venus sign?
Yeah,
So
this
for
is
an
what
example,
definitely.
let's start with the Capricorn Venus. How can you attract somebody with the Capricorn Venus?
Okay, so let me just think, because Venus is more so it's more so about attracting. Okay, okay. So with a woman, you attract their Venus. Like that's what attracts them the most. With a man, what attracts them the most is their Mars.
The Mars. Okay.
So
Right.
so if it was a Venus in Capricorn woman, someone who's very very career orientated, someone who has a level of status in their life, so they're already successful in doing something. The person is very disciplined and structured. The person in public really operates in a disciplined manner and doesn't like act crazy or childish. Acts quite mature. Um, so this is, yeah, they want somebody who's private as well, not someone who's going to expose themselves or do silly things, or even if it's for content, for example, they wouldn't want someone who's like exposing themselves on a silly way on social media. They want someone who's, if they are on social media, they want someone who is like, yeah, someone who's just like professional on social media. For example, is it's all about the image. It's all about your image. And if they feel like you have a great image plus the money behind it, then yeah, that will
Yeah.
attract them.
Yeah. Especially for a Capricorn. What about um somebody has like a Venus in Sagittarius?
Yeah, you need to be someone who has a lot of experience, someone who has wisdom. Um, yeah, wisdom and experience is what's gonna really impress. If you're someone, they're gonna challenge you a lot, because they want to know how much you know and what you know and where you've been and who you've seen and what you've seen, etc. They want to know all of that. So if you don't come with that, then yeah, they're gonna be like, they're not gonna rate you if you don't come with it. They're gonna test you and challenge you. Plus, direct, just like direct risk taking kind of energy. Like they want you to like just, let's do this. We're coming here. I'm coming to get you. Like they want you to not be hesitant in terms of how you operate.
Yeah. I always found Sagittarius to be more. They're also very spiritual.
They are.
Very spiritual. Yeah, I always found that interesting. Every Sagittarius that I ran across is spiritual, and they're serious about it. Like they
Mhm.
have like this routine that they go with, and they just go up to the moon. It's like their arrow, right? They're shooting for the
Mhm.
star. I get that energy a lot from Sagittarius. I have another question for you.
Mhm.
Okay, so how do people sabotage love during the wrong timing when it comes to their chart? How can they sabotage their love or being in a relationship?
Depending on what exactly the
Depending on, for an example, their Mars sign, how can they self sabotage something?
in terms of relationship or anything.
And in terms of relationship,
Yeah, self sabotage obviously is sometimes with your Mars sign. Depending on what it is, you can be very some. You can, because Mars is a planet of action, planet of motivation, planet of desire, planet of anger, planet of energy. So you sabotage it based on your anger. You being a Mars in Pisces, you don't get angry a lot, but you do get angry when you're not understood. When someone doesn't understand you, or someone doesn't feel you, someone doesn't appreciate what you're giving to them. This can anger you a lot. And then maybe because they feel like they shouldn't have to give you appreciation, or maybe they feel like they don't, then you could feel a way towards them, and that could create an argument, that could create a disagreement, etc., because they haven't understood your kind of feelings towards how they've been treating you, or how they've not been appreciative of what you give them. So it comes through anger normally with the Mars sign, and what we get angry about. You get angry, so you could get angry about people not appreciating, or not saying that you do anything or you give anything. When as a Mars in Pisces, I know you do.
Yeah, you kind of hit the nail right there when you were saying when definitely when people don't understand me. I tend not to get mad. I tend to feel the other person. Okay, they didn't mean it. Kind of like a compassion, trying to
Hmm.
get some type of compassion for them.
Hmm.
But when I don't get any understanding out of it,
Hmm.
it drives me up the wall. But I don't do it in their face. I'll do it alone. I'll
Hmm.
kind of like
But
take it
but
on
that
myself.
that ultimately hurts the relationship, because then you have hidden thoughts about the person, so it kind of might affect how you operate in the future. And that's, even if you don't give that effect to that person, like, or the anger, you still will affect your behavior towards them. So
Yeah, it's been a big problem. Yes, that is true. I've had that issue in the past with that in not being able to express
mm,
because it was difficult. It's difficult, and especially having that Mars and Pisces. I think sometimes Pisces are very secretive people, and sometimes I tend to keep my anger a secret rather
mm,
than express it. So yeah,
mm,
that's been an issue for a while. Yeah,
yeah.
I I have.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
like Pisces tend not to know how to deal with their anger, and tend not to. They don't like confrontation. Pisces Mars. That's the
No,
problem.
no, that's the big problem. But the thing is, because my Mercury is in Aries, it's like do it, and then at the end, it's like nah, it's all good, don't worry. So it's like a fight between two.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I have two more questions, man, and then I want to give my chart. I want to tell you my chart at the end, but I have two more questions if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Um, my next question, man. If can you tell me when you first check a chart, or anybody's chart, what is the first thing you tend to look at and why?
Sun, Moon, and the rising sign. And the reason why is because it's the biggest. It's the biggest indication of who you are, really.
Mm. And tell me about the Lilith because the Lilith is another thing that I've been watching. And I don't really have too much information on it. I think it's interesting to know about. I've heard some influencers talk about it. People that are into astrology. What is the Lilith, and why is it important to pay attention to?
The latest moon is literally some connected to your shame. Where you feel shame, where you hide your suppressed emotions. That's why you feel shame when whatever connected to your Lilith moon comes up in your life. And it, it's where you kind of like, it's where your kind of hidden willpower, your dark willpower is like there's a power in there to come out, and it's kind of accepting your Lilith will allow a level of power for you to come out. But because you have so much shame connected to your Lilith placement, you don't want anyone to see it, so it's very hidden and secretive, and um, something that people don't even feel. Like I said, it's in the unconscious. It rules the unconscious mind. It's so hidden and suppressed that, yeah, it's not obvious to most people, to be honest with you. But
Mm.
normally it's based on our traumas as well. It's connected to our traumas that we've had, especially from the ages of 0 to 7, and we've either suppressed them traumas, or we've connected, or we know about the traumas, and we just like put it in a box, but it comes out every now and then when it gets kind of like when it's a kind of a real life incident comes to the surface that connects to your trauma. That's when you feel that Lilith moon, and how you feel and what you feel. But
And Lilith, and the Lilith is also it's also your south node, right, or your north node. Is it the same thing?
no, the south and north node are different. The south node and north node are like yeah, they're based on your past life and what you're here to learn and what you're here to let go.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I appreciate that. Okay, so I want to give you my chart, man. And I just, I would like your opinion on it. And what you think. My first time doing a chart reading online or whatever, ever with an astrologer. So I'm curious to find out and understand. So my sun is in Taurus, which is in the
I
12th
knew
house.
you was a Taurus.
Yeah.
I knew
And
it.
the moon is in Taurus, the 12th house. And then my Mercury's in Aries, which is 11th house. And then Venus is in Taurus, 12th house. Mars in Pisces, 10th house. Um, I think my Jupiter is in Virgo, which is 4th house. Pluto, Scorpio, 6th house. And then the last one I remember is I think my Neptune and Uranus are both in Capricorn, which is the 8th house. And then my Lilith is in Aquarius.
And your rising sign?
And my rising sign is Gemini.
Oh yeah, you said yeah, yeah. Interesting. So the podcast thing is actually good for you to do for sure. Like Gemini Risings should be doing podcasts and should be doing like news reporting and all this type of thing, because it's all about obviously communication and stuff like that. So how you impress people is with doing that stuff like what you're doing now. So you should just keep doing what you're doing. But yeah, it's yeah, you have a interesting chart for sure. Did you say your Saturn? What did you say your Saturn was in?
My Saturn is in Aquarius. My Jupiter is in Virgo. So my Saturn is in the 10th house.
Mm, yeah, Saturn in the 10th house. Interesting. Yeah, no, that's interesting. That is interesting. There's a lot of things going on in your chart. Um,
With career in the past, I've had issues being with rules and boredom. I when I'm given a set of rules at work, I notice as my job career has keep going. I tend to not like rules. I tend to
mm,
be a little bit rebellious towards rules and how they work in a job.
this is
Something
because
I had to work on growing
this is
getting older.
your Lilith is Aquarius. Um, that's probably why. The Lilith in Aquarius is like, obviously you're born in 92, right?
Yes.
So it's a situation where like most people, you're in your kind of like year. Most people born that year tend to find it difficult to like follow rules and do what they need to do. He's like, because like even your Chinese zodiac is the sign of the monkey. So monkeys always want to play and do this and do that and just be free to go where they want to go. And it's you're just kind of rebellious naturally. You're just kind of like you don't like to be like told unless somebody's like really. The respect thing obviously is a normal thing for everyone, but because of the Lilith, it has to be like if the whole group is involved, then you'll go with it. If you feel like you're being individualized and stuff, you will rebel. Um, but if everyone's the whole group and everybody's been treated in a certain way, then you'll go with that because you feel like it's the right thing to do for the team.
Mm. And you think do you think people that are struggling to find a career or something that they want to do you think it's necessary for them to look at their chart
I
to
think it's
keep?
more than this. I think it's the most easiest way, the most simplest way to like take you from obscurity and the unknown to know where you're going and know what you're doing and know how to do it. Like you know, there's people who are just living a life where they're working and they don't know what want to be there and they don't know what to do, but they have to keep working and they don't think they have any options and stuff like this. This is it's so easy to just look. So, well, for me to look at your chart and for me to say, look, all you need to do is this, and this, and you just focus on doing this for a couple of months. Not first thing, you'll change your mentality, change your, incorporate things that you feel uncomfortable with. You'll see how easy things start to connect with what you're doing. You'll see how even in 2 3 months you'll see like things I've said happened, and sometimes you may have not done it, and you'll see like I should have done that because if you would have done it, because obviously it's not easy to kind of just do things like boom 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 boom. But you'll see how it will play out, and you'll see how you'll miss certain opportunities, but you'll gain certain things as well, and you'll realize, yeah, this is the truth, and then do some more things that you're aligned with, and then you'll start seeing the results, and it will just keep building and compounding until you're out of your situation that you didn't want to be in and in the situation that you wanted to be in.
Mhm. King, I needed that, man, because right now I'm actually going through a transition. Um, I'm actually moving here soon to try to build up the podcast, move to a bigger city. Hope probably go back to New York or something like this. But it's good to hear that message because I feel like this year, I have been aligning for what I want to do going forward, and that's networking, podcasting, and just connecting with people, man. And I needed that message, man. I appreciate that a lot,
No
for real.
problem. No
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. All right. So we like to do a final message before we leave the show. So in your case, I want to ask you this, or actually, I want you to give a message. What would you say to someone that is trying to learn about astrology, trying to get into astrology, but has doubts and doesn't know how to go about it?
I would say the honestly, I, to be honest, I wish I would know these people because I would just send them one video that I've done that is really descriptive about their sun sign, because everybody knows their sun sign. I would send it to them and they would literally be like, "Yeah, this is okay. This is well, how does he know that? You know, do you know what I mean? It's like the doubt would be like he may still have a slight doubt, but you'll be like, okay, this is not something that someone's going to know about me, and it's not generic. It's very specific in terms of your sun sign. And then once you start to connect with that, you have to automatically, unless you just really like reject understanding yourself, you have to automatically go deeper. You know what the problem is that most things out there are very generic. Most things out there, they work. There's a lot of people, they say things that are true. I'm not denying their understanding, but it's still very generic. There's no specifics about it, and you people that doubt astrology believe that it's just something that is based on probability, based on, oh, you're going to say a few things that are probably going to hit me, and yeah, you could have said that about anyone and anyone would believe that. That's what people think. But when you actually get specific in terms of talking about things that maybe people would never believe, that that's when you start to change your ideals on astrology.
I appreciate that, man. Just the thought podcast, the astrology consultant, yes, aka Stewart King. My bad. Stewart King, aka the astrology consultant. Yes, thank you for coming on the show, man.
No
Guys, you
problem.
can find him on TikTok, Instagram, right?
And YouTube.
Linktree, and you also have YouTube, correct?
That's correct. YouTube, yeah.
YouTube, and then Facebook as well.
No, I'm not on Facebook.
Facebook, okay.
I'm not really on Facebook, no.
Yeah, on Facebook. It's kind of getting old now. I understand that. So yes, find him, the astrology consultant, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. King, thank you for coming on the show, man. It has been a blessing, bro.
No
Thank you
problem.
so much, man.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me. Thank you.
Yes, Just a Thought podcast. We are out, guys.